safety car to gun above the Haas and put McLaren tied with Alfa Romeo in the constructors. But now, with so much to play for, who is going to be leading the championship going into the third round? Is Weissy going to be able to keep his dominant stride going, or does he finally have some competition in the form of one of the Mercedes or Bison? We'll just have to wait and see. Alright, we'll give him a little bit of time, but it's fine now, considering that most of the outlaps are included. So the driver on the top step of qualifying right now is Heya, who had a particularly solid lap around the track, and is the only person with a sub 101 thus far. Beastava was going to try and challenge that, but he switched into having an outlap so he can have another attempt at it. However, another person who's had a particularly solid lap for their team as well is Mikar. How do you say that? Is it Mishala? Is it I don't know. But yeah, out of the other drivers who had a particularly good lap, Lordmaster for the McLaren team actually had a pretty good lap as well. And McLaren are looking for any points that they can get, considering that they're relatively low in the constructor standings and need more points if they want to gun into the higher spots. Actually, wait, hold on. Never mind, I was just confused by something. Right. So looking for the other drivers, let me see if there's anyone who's not on an outlap currently. Actually, wait, hold on. I just had a realization. Where's Weissy? Yeah, Weissy isn't here.
Yes, indeed.
I'm gonna send him a DM.
Is not in the server, and this is going to hurt his placement in the standings.
Hang on, I'm gonna send him a DM to see if he can attend. But on Discord, it looks like he's just flat out not there. What's going on? Is Weissy missing the qualifying, or is there a reason he's not showing up? Either way, we're not being told. There could be a lot more to this than what it seems behind the standings. And if Weissy doesn't show up for the full race, then this could be huge for the Mercedes team. This could be the jump to the front that they really needed. But then again, that all comes down to if Weissy shows up or not. Bringing a little bit more attention to Lordmaster, his time is still in P4, just a little bit of a step below Beastava. This is a particularly solid pace from the McLaren team. Do you think they could probably punch a little bit higher than their weight today?
I think it could certainly be possible. They just have to keep this up in Q2, and that will surely help them in the QWDC. And it's not just qualifying, you also have to perform in the race, and that's where you win all the points. So you're just gonna have to wait and see who can go into this Q2 session. But so far we are on board with Beastava at the moment, who just completed this outlap, I presume. So he's going to try, and I feel like in theory he doesn't need to do any more runs, as he's already basically through, but it's probably practicing for his runs in Q2.
Okay, looking for the other positions on the standings, one of the drivers who are currently in danger but about to finish a lap is Spy Roches for the Racing Point team. They're currently in 9th by a very thin margin. Oh, and they whiffed one of the curbs! It was on the last couple of corners where they sent it into one of the sand traps, and now if Spy Roches wants to make it into the shootout, he's gonna need to get a recovery fast. That's very unfortunate for the Racing Point team, considering that they haven't been on form for the I lost track of what I was gonna say. But yeah, very unfortunate for Spyrocious. It was definitely looking like he could be a surprise entrant to the shootout, but if he wants to do that, then he's got to start that good lap all over again. But yeah, I still haven't received any word from YC. He's still remaining offline. Well, I'm not. It's not even the. Oh, it's top 10 into Q2. Okay, never mind. That means that Spyrocious is still.
This Q2 session, as you can see from his sector times, 12.4, 31.1. Now that is enough to get into Q2, but his sector 3 was, I think, about 6-8 tenths off the pace, and that's what ruined his chance to get into Q2. So yeah, really unfortunate for him. He really had the potential to get up there.
Me, I just briefly got distracted. But either way, coming back to the pack, I think there were a lot of people who gunned it up to 9th and 10th who are going to be very thankful that the shootout opened particularly for them, especially the Racing Point to Spyrocious, considering that if it was only the top 8, he would have missed out on the shootout after one messed up lap. And that's the last thing that Racing Point want, considering their problematic place in the standings. But I've said it before, and I'll say it again. YC's not home. He didn't even make it for the first bit of qualifying, and at this rate, he's not even going to make it for the race. This could impact heavily on the driver standings, because if the Swede doesn't show up for the race itself, then by default, I feel like he's lost the championship lead. Unless there's an absolute anomaly in the race's results. What do you guys think?
I'm looking here on check. There are a lot of people here who are out of road with people.
Right, another thing that's particularly surprised me, well, two things that have surprised me, is that both a McLaren and a Williams have found their way into the shootout. Considering that they were battling for table scraps before, do you think this driver shift could have any, major change on how they could do in the constructor standings? Hold on, Lordmaster is about to finish his first lap, and we're going to get the first batch of proper laps. Jerry Packer currently has the fastest. So cutting back to okay, they're all on outlaps, okay. You know, sometimes it's hard to find gaps where you can actually give insightful commentary. So yeah, hold on. But don't worry, this is par for the course, honestly. Have you ever watched an F1 race from 2002 to 2008? There were always these relatively large gaps when there was nothing to commentate on. You know? Alright then, so Moto. Okay, let's put our attention to Moto for a second, because he just set a purple sector for the first part of the track. This could be particularly solid for the Alfa Romeo driver if he's able to round this out into a full clean lap. But again, we'll just have to see if Moto can keep his cool and bring this to the end. It's seeming like he's got a good. Okay, nope, never mind. He hit a track limit. Moto's only goal was to keep it all together, but he clipped a little bit too far on the outside. And it seems like that investigation that was mentioned earlier on the Aston Martin of Korea has been dropped. I don't think there's been any result that's come out of it. It's more so just that the FIA has been getting a little suspicious about one of the drivers, which that's part of the course, honestly. But Hayar is about to finish a lap of his own. It's double green sectors. Does this improve his position in qualifying? Yes, it does! It now becomes a 1-2 lockout for the Mercedes of Dungeon and the Mercedes of Hayar. Beastaver is going to need to step up his game if he wants to get solid points. This could be his one chance to gun Red Bull into leading the championship, but he needs to keep things solid. Because, actually, what am I even talking about? What do I mean by keeping solid? Oh, hold on! That's actually a really solid time from the Williams of the Dominic the Bomb. I think that's how you pronounce it. But yeah, Williams are currently in 5th in the qualifying positions. That's really good for the team, considering that before, I don't think they were even fighting for table scraps. But yeah, Beastaver also finishes a lap time. It was particularly good alongside a monster final sector, but it isn't enough to defeat. Moto in qualifying, he dethrones one of the Mercedes! Moto guns his way into 2nd in the qualifying, pipping his way onto the front row, just about beating Heya. However, Dungeon Fanatics is still holding strong. He still has pole position by the smallest possible margin. Hold on. The Williams of Domestic the Bomb, after his really good lap time, is now under investigation by the FIA for the same reason as Korean was. If this ends up turning into anything bad, then this could be disastrous for Williams, considering they just got into the top 6 after a really good qualifying session. So a penalty is the last thing that they want. And coming back to Domestic the Bomb, he might actually improve his time again. He does. He cuts it down by about 20ths of a second. But it isn't enough to improve his time anymore. If anything, it might just potentially keep him safe, given a little bit more time. But yeah, also on the front row, Heya sets a purple first sector. This could lead into something massive. Heya, considering he's 2nd in the standings, could really use a pole position. That would put him in a particularly dominant. And in the last couple seconds, Heya takes pole position from Dungeon Fanatics. What an incredible showcase of skill from Heya. But Dungeon Fanatics is not to be outdone that easily. He is on his own lap. Could Dungeon Fanatics take back the pole position from his teammate right after Heya initially got it? It's looking like a particularly good lap from him, but he did end up but he did end up barely getting a yellow sector in the middle. Dungeon is on the last straight. Is this a better time than his previous time? Does Dungeon have pole back? Oh, it's a better time by the thinnest possible margins, but it's unfortunately not enough for Dungeon Master to put himself on pole position. However, there are still a few other drivers that haven't set their lap times yet, as Rufus has already made calls to what he thinks the front row is. But Moto and Beastaver haven't finished their last lap yet. Are they going to steal the front row? Moto steals the front row from Dungeon Master! It was a Mercedes 1-2, then Moto took that away, then Heya won that back, then Dungeon won that back, and in the last possible second, Moto takes it at the last possible moment, even after the stewards thought it was all over, to revoke the Mercedes 1-2 that they thought they had. What an incredible qualifying session from Mercedes and Alfa Romeo.